Hi, from time to time, it's asked of me, well, how frequently do you do an episode? Well, I do an episode frequently, but it's not on a regular schedule. It's not like every Tuesday and every Thursday or every Monday and every Wednesday. It comes out when I have something to say or I find something I want to share with you. Well, I found something to share with you, and I'm really pleased to bring it to you. Welcome back to Rob's Feed. Today, this is episode number 126, and I'm Rob Schendel. I want to talk to you once more about Target. It's no secret that I'm very pissed off at the Target Corporation, and I find it just unbelievable the political contributions they made last election cycle, and I'm still boycotting the company. I can't off the top of my head think of one thing that I've purchased there since the boycott commenced, and the only time I darkened their doors, the only time I was even in one was when I was out and about walking and a sudden cloudburst showed up and I was to avoid being soaked in the rain. I went inside it was only there 20 feet away, went into Target. But I have to give them credit, and not them so much as a corporation, but the people who work for Target. Now, I have acquaintances and friends who do work for Target, and I feel quite bad about that. And what are they going to do? In this economy, they're going to not work or they got a job? That doesn't make any sense. So I respect their decisions to work for Target. But what I really like is what some of these people have done. This is another It Gets Better video. And one of the best, actually today I have two for you, and two of the best I've seen. So hats off to the people who work for Target for this exceptional video, and I do hope you watch it all. But I have to say thank you to the Target Corporation because they obviously did it with Target's blessing.
I knew I was attracted to men instead of women ever since I can remember being young.
In hindsight, I think you always know.
I made my mom buy me the Sound of Music soundtrack. And I think that's when I knew something was different.
When you look back and you see little bits and pieces.
I recognized there was something a little bit different about how I felt.
I remember literally hiding like a Spice Girls CD in my locker. And one day it fell out and some guy was like, "You like the Spice Girls?" And I was like, "Yes, I like the Spice Girls." It's like I couldn't keep it in any longer.
But the idea of acting on that in any kind of physical way just didn't really seem like it would be a very good idea.
What I felt was deemed as wrong by the other kids around me and, even the other parents.
I was teased a lot. I think people saw something in me that made me a target.
Kids that age they're just cruel.
They would say these things and they really sat with me. They still sit with me.
So everything from gay to fag to faggot.
Sissy, dolly.
People would just call you a dyke.
My least favorite part of the day always was the bus ride.
I hated gym class. For many reasons. I was overweight. Let's pick teams. You can only be the last one picked. And even when you are the last one picked and nobody wants you, they would, does he have to play at all?
At one point, these group of guys who lived in my neighborhood actually invited me over, and I stupidly went over, and I thought they were trying to be nice to me, and they ended up tying me up in the basement.
Well, it was scary for sure. You feel very alone.
I hadn't figured out that there might be somebody else to talk to.
I was severely depressed to the point where I was contemplating suicide and, thinking about what life would be like without me there.
For so long when I was dealing with the bullying and not wanting to go to school, I was looking at and realizing that my GLBT friends, it wasn't just that they were being bullied, but they were almost afraid to go to school. And it wasn't that it was uncomfortable, it was they couldn't be who they were.
It's crazy to actually think back all of the things I thought through, like, should I wear this shirt? Should I not wear this shirt? Should I hang out with this person? Should I try to hang out with these guys instead of, this group of girls?
There was nothing more in the world than I wanted than to not be gay.
I just repressed my feelings and stuffed them so deeply that I didn't even think about it.
As I got older and I understood who I was and was brave enough to stand up and say, this is it, this is me, then people can think what they want.
I am gay.
I came out when I was 19.
18.
I was 17.
15.
I think you're always coming out. I think you come out every time you meet somebody or have to disclose who you are.
I was 16. My dad asked, and I appreciated that he had the courage to ask, but I don't think that he was prepared to hear the answer that he got.
It was very dramatic. It was me in the back seat and then both of my parents in the front seats facing forward. I can just see both of their heads sitting in front of me as I'm telling them that I'm gay.
One of my friends' parents at the time actually threw me a little party when I came out.
I think it was hard for everybody to kind of wrap their head around, except for my mother, who, she was like, yeah, surprise, how about it?
She just sent me a letter just saying, I knew you were different. I always knew you were different. But I love you. And you're my son.
I was 37 years old when I came out. And I first told my husband at the time. And I had these 2 little kids. And it was kind of a relief to admit this to him, but it was really hard because I knew it was hurtful to him. And I really didn't know what was going to happen to my kids. Like, oh, you mean mom's a lesbian?
My parents aren't supportive of my lifestyle.
My father's reaction was incredibly painful for me because I felt like creating shame for your father is I feel like I was just letting him down, and I was making him less of the person that I always known him to be.
After kind of accepting the fact that they're probably not going to change, I just looked elsewhere for support.
You end up making your own family, and that's your family of choice versus your family of origin.
People always told me high school was the best years of your life. I said, are you kidding me?
College was fantastic. College was wonderful.
I went into college with a new attitude, with an open mind. And again, I didn't hide who I was.
Hiding who you think you are, it takes an amazing amount of energy.
You have to be okay with yourself. And once that happens, I think other people start to respect you.
I could really focus on the really, really important things, which was what was I going to do with my life? It wasn't just going to be professionally gay. I needed to do something.
Seeing my father in the military and knowing what that was about, it always felt like service was just something that people would want to do and should feel compelled to do. Signed up for a 4-year enlistment. Everything about it was so great, except for this one piece that I couldn't be a whole person.
My senior year, I met a guy, and Matthew was his name, and we, it was kind of my first love, and we decided that we were going to go to homecoming together. At the time, I had no idea that that it was sort of a radical thing to do, but it was just something that we felt was really right.
One of the hardest things I ever went through was really reconciling my Christian faith with being gay, and it tore me apart. But when you're that low, you can only go up. What tore me completely apart and what the worst experience of my life ever was became my greatest source of strength.
I ended up at a very small all-girls Catholic college, which, as you can guess, may not be the most welcoming to members of the GLBT community. I took that as one of my personal causes and spent a lot of time in the dean's office. Katie's here.
My husband is wonderful. Being married is something I didn't think would ever happen to me, but when he transitioned from female to male and all of the gender pieces lined up with his paperwork, we suddenly saw that it was something that we legally could do.
There was this feeling that I had a couple years ago that I was where I was supposed to be, doing what I was supposed to be doing with the people that I was supposed to be with.
Today, I couldn't have even possibly dreamed all of the things that I get to do in my life today.
In high school, all I wanted was to be straight. I think now that it's the last thing that I would want.
I enjoy being in a city where I can be who I want to be every day and working in a place that I can be who I want to be every day.
My life is just fabulous. I mean, I have these two amazing kids, but I also have a really wonderful, beautiful partner.
Feeling that I could love, it was probably the best I've ever felt.
I'm so proud to be a daughter that my father can be proud of, to be a wife that my spouse can be proud of, and to be a veteran that my country can be proud of.
Everyone knows that this is who I am, so if I want to sing, I'm going to sing. And if I want to dance, I'm going to dance. And if I want to listen to the Spice Girls, I am going to listen to the Spice Girls.
Once you get through that and you really get to be who you are, your world will change and your life is going to be amazing.
Dignity is the one thing that no one can ever take away from you. It does get better.
It does get better.
It gets so much better.
It definitely gets better.
100%.
It doesn't just get better, it gets amazing.
It will definitely get better.
I said this before, I'll say it again. These things bring tears to my eyes. They just overwhelm me. So on Facebook today, I was alerted to the existence of even another one that's equally as good. I can't wait to share that with you from the people at 24 Hour Fitness. Take a look.
Every parent wants their little girl to grow up and be, a fairy tale princess.
What would people think if they really knew who I was?
I really was concerned about what they might think of me. I was afraid that I would lose my family and everyone I'd ever known.
It's scary. You feel like the world's against you.
And thinking that I was the only gay kid out there.
I felt like I was wearing a mask every day.
I tried everything I could do to hide it.
It's terrifying, especially when you have no one telling you otherwise.
I'm the most normal kid that there is. Why am I different than anyone else?
A big worry for me was really what people would think if they knew I was gay.
I think the assumptions are that you're not going to be accepted by your friends and family. And that's a very scary process for someone to go through.
There's just sort of a lot of fear of, will my friends and my family still like me? Will they still respect me? Will we still have the same relationship if they knew how I really felt?
I was very much concerned that they might see me differently or think that I'm seeing them differently because of who I was.
You're not heterosexual. If you're not going to get married, if you don't have kids, then going to hell.
I was afraid that people would have judgment or they'd have an agenda. They'd say you're not a real man.
I think one of the biggest mistakes I made was trying to bury everything down.
The more that it falls apart, the higher that it can grow.
What you need to recognize is that there are a lot of people going through exactly what you're going through right now, and there are a lot of people who have gone through this already.
The feeling like, damn right I exist, and it's okay.
And you're just being yourself, which is the best feeling in the world.
What I would miss out on if I hadn't just sort of stuck with it and just sort of hung in there when it sucked.
I have a career that I love. I have friends that I would not have had. It's an overwhelming feeling when you can look at your life and just see how much different it is from when you were a kid.
Coming out opened up a whole new world for me of being able to show people who I am.
Instead of feeling like I'm living a lie, I'm able to feel like I'm giving myself to the world.
And once you are more comfortable with that one part of you, the rest is able to flourish.
I just can't wait to keep growing and just see what my future has in store for me.
It's okay to just be happy.
I'm me. I'm happy. All the pieces are together.
Oh, just wait.
Don't give up.
You're able to take charge of your life.
Find yourself and be confident and know that no matter what happens and what struggles or rough roads you might come across, it'll get better in the end.
Literally every morning I wake up and I thank God that I'm gay.
It's not a gay utopia we live in. There's still struggles, but together we can make it better for the people that come after us. And I need you here to help in that process. It gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better.
It gets so much better.
I'm Carl Liebert. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for 24 Hour Fitness. I'm a big believer that when the sun comes up every day, it gets better.
At 24 Hour Fitness, we're committed to accepting all forms of diversity. To our team members,
We want them to be comfortable when they come to work. We want them to love what they do and also to love themselves. Everyone deserves to be respected.
That's beautiful. June is Pride Month. That's the month when we all acknowledge being gay and being proud of it. Well, I don't know that something that comes so naturally to me is something that I should be proud of. Like, I have blue eyes. Well, I was given blue eyes. It's not something I've accomplished, so why would I be proud of my blue eyes? But there is something to this pride thing. It's how we, as a subgroup of society, we've come so far. So very, very far. As I speak, I'm still waiting to hear what's going on in the New York State Senate regarding marriage equality. But can you imagine that? Getting married to somebody of the same gender? Someone you love of the same gender? I think that's just incredible, and yes, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the people who have made that happen. Just look at how far we've come. You know, it used to be, if you were gay and you had a job, you did everything in your power, absolutely everything you could do to keep your employers and your fellow employees from finding out. And now these days, these It Gets Better videos are being created publicly and with the support and encouragement of the employers. Now that's just wonderful, and that's the way it should be. So there's something there to be proud of. So, and before I let you go, I'm going to tell you about our next episode number 127. It's going to talk about the history of the Pride movement, back to the days in 1969 when the Stonewall riots started. Now I'm going to be talking about it, and we'll be sourcing some items and sharing some video as well that I may have difficulty sharing with you. So please understand that if you happen to watch Rob's Feed today on YouTube, you're not going to see this episode there. I'm not even going to bother, because as I said, there's some music in it and things that probably would violate the copyright terms that YouTube has. So if that's you, please go to robsfeedtoday.com and look for the episode there. It'll be number 127, and as I said, it was going to talk about the history of the Pride movement. But everyone else can just expect to see it in their download inbox, probably about Monday. And having said that, happy Pride. That's all I'm going to say.